I bet you guys out there love this film. Because the thing is, there's a lot of people out there who don't. But I loved it. No, seriously, I thought it was great. Like, honestly, I think there was nothing more perfect. I thought it was better than the Avengers. Like, I love how Avengers kind of made its mark, but this really took the toll. Like, you don't have to have all of these DC Comics superheroes basically, you know, having their own film. Just put them in together, you know. Let's have a bloody community service with them. I hated this film. This was awful. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, my bad, sorry. Fucking hell was it boring. My god, I mean, the funny thing is, like, I saw on IMDb 9.4 out of 10, I kind of thought, okay, there must be something good about it. Or there is, actually, no, honestly, there is something good about it. But I will get to that. And then the day after, I found out that the score dropped drastically. So it went from 9.4 to 8.7, and now it's gone to 7.9. 7.8. Like today, like, it probably has gone lower, but now it went from, on Rotten Tomatoes, 50%, now 31%. And I thought, wow, oh my god. I knew this was going to be bad. Okay, so to start with, before I go into anything about the movie in general, I'm going to talk about two of the heroes, Superman and Batman. I grew up with them as characters. I grew up watching the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve. Loved it to death. Honestly, Chris Reeve, even in death, is still alive as Superman. Like, he really is the Man of Steel. Henry Cavill is a really good Superman, by the way, like, even in this. But I think Christopher Reeve really still, he's perfect. Like, he is that guy. The iconic character that we grew up with. Like, comics today have literally evolved to make it look like him. And the best part about it is, you know, like, even if the film had problems, like with the whole spinning around the earth kind of thing, you know, he stole the show. Like, even in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, rubbish film, awful film, but he stole the show. Like, he will always be the best Superman. And also, I will talk about Batman, one of my favourite superheroes. I think my favourite Batman film will always be 1989 Batman. I love The Dark Knight, the second, like, Dark Knight, not Dark Knight Rises, that was shit, but Dark Knight. But Batman, what I really love about it is the atmosphere, you know, the whole simplicity of Gotham City. You know, it's not so complicated, which is what Nolan had, which is his style, but I feel that what's more effective is the simplicity of how Tim Burton made Gotham, and how gothic-y it was, and how it kind of felt realistic in a sense. And this was shot in London, which suited it. It suited it so well, and most of all, Jack Nicholson as the Joker, hilarious as hell. I love Heath Ledger's Joker more, but Jack Nicholson, like, he was born to be that character. And then we've got Michael Keaton as Batman. Now, I think he's underrated. I think he is the best Batman. Although my favourite Batman is Kevin Conroy, voice actor-wise, live-wise, Michael Keaton is the real, true, iconical Batman. Especially of the late 80s, because if you look at Batman today, like, even with the whole Batman v Superman thing, that wouldn't have existed without Michael Keaton as Batman, or The Dark Knight Returns, or Batman Year One, okay? You wouldn't have had that if it wasn't for that, okay? If it wasn't for Michael Keaton. He created a style, okay? He brought it back to the pinnacle of the fact that we can take comic books seriously, especially Batman, you know? And I grew up watching the cartoon, I loved it. Batman the Animated Series. Superman the Animated Series, not so much, but I did watch the 40s cartoon Superman, which was good for its time, and it's basically the same thing over and over, you know. An evil threat comes, Lois gets captured, Clark becomes Superman, saves Lois, defeats the enemy, the end. That's basically it. And yeah, so Batman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, awesome as hell. You know, if there was any kind of Justice League film that I would want it to be like, it would be Justice League Unlimited. That is how I would want to see it. in a way that it's kind of like the Avengers in some sense, the way it's done with Joss Whedon and such. Oh boy, we didn't get that. We got a train wreck. Guys, we got a train wreck. I'm one of the only ones that defended Man of Steel. Okay? I think Man of Steel is underrated. I think Henry Cavill did a great job as Superman, and I think he's the best part of this movie. Batman v Superman. Superman's the best bit, because, to be honest, although everyone's giving him controversy over what they're saying, like, the people in the movie, so the people who are complaining about the whole destruction thing, and apparently it's continuing off from there, and there's a lot of controversy about the fact that whether Superman should be allowed to live in this city, basically. And to be honest, that was good. That was actually good, because although it's questionable, and it's pretty stupid if you ask me, because to be honest, Superman is one of the more loved, of the Justice League, in Metropolis. Batman is the one that they are controversial about, because he does nothing but, take down crime over his way, and not through Justice's way. Although Batman does stand for justice as well, Superman is basically the perfect guy. He does what he does best. And that's one of the things that they got wrong with this. Although it's interesting to kind of see the controversial side of Superman, comparing it to Batman. Nobody cares about what Batman's like in Gotham. Nobody cares about, the fact that he's a man who dresses up as a bat, and his ears like these little things that come up there. It's like his dick can only extend that big, but Bale's can extend longer, basically. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about the movie as a whole. So from start to finish. Literally finish. There is spoilers, okay? Why? Because I am saving your life, okay? You shouldn't bother watching this film. Unless you want to see it because you're a DC fan and you need to see how bad it is, go do it. I did this, and trust me, this was 2.5 hours, 17 pounds waste of my fucking life. Alright? So let's start. Okay, so the film starts off with Warner Brothers Entertainment with a leaf flying by, and already I took a shot. So I thought, wow, this is really going to be stupid. So it starts off with recreating the whole, Batman losing his parents and the gunshot and everything. But the problem is they cut away so much because they kind of like, oh guys, we've got to cram this story in. Like, how are we going to do it? How about this? Leave the whole Bruce Wayne's parents got shot thing. Why? Because it's been done already. Okay? It's been done twice now. No, 3 times, in fact. 3 times live action on film. You don't need it a 4th time. Even Spider-Man's learned their lesson from that. Okay, so as the film goes on, so we look at Bruce Wayne's past, his parents get killed, and he starts monologuing, and he's like, my parents got killed, and it was traumatizing, and I'm so dull with my accent. And it's really, really stupid, honestly. And then we cut to Metropolis, so we cut to present day, which happened in 2013. Superman fighting the Terraformer thing and General Zod. So a couple of buildings come down, and Ben Affleck comes in looking like a drunken a-hole, with his grey hair and everything, trying to look old, like Batman, basically, like the Dark Knight Returns Batman. And he's really concerned, like, okay, one good thing, okay. First of all, Affleck is terrible in this film, okay? He is not Batman, and he is certainly not Bruce Wayne. He fails almost on every level. He is bland as hell. But one good thing acting-wise that he got right was the fact that he had a purpose. Okay, he felt that he had to fight Superman because he felt threatened. That's good, okay? That is actually one good element. But to be honest, that's not enough to even be Batman. Does that make him Batman? No. Okay, so stop complaining, because I've heard a lot of people have been saying that he is like the best Batman on screen. No, he's not. Okay, no, he is not, guys. He's bland. Like, most of the time, he was like this, and I just felt so phased. Every time he said something so dull, I just thought, I don't even know why Zack Snyder even hired this guy. Like, he's not even very good at it. Because most of the time, he's just being all angry and shit. Like, he's got the same tone. It's like he doesn't change. You know? And we barely even see him as Batman. It's just him as Bruce Wayne, failing on all levels. You know? Okay, so the building comes down, and a few people in the building die. One guy loses his legs, and Affleck just gets angry. Okay, and then they cut to present day. The whole controversial thing with Superman goes on, and basically it makes no sense. One thing I will say, like, they're making Superman the enemy, in some ways the enemy. Okay, I'm really confused about this. For some reason, they're making, like, Superman could have just gone there, snatched Lois and that other dude, and then taken the other guys. Like, the scene after the building comes down, you've got a setup, in the Middle East, and they've got guns and everything. Superman, why don't you just take care of them? Like, bang, 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 bang. You're practically, you can take power from the sun. Like, you're practically stronger than everyone else. Like, all those explosions happen because you can't control your power, not because you're a hungry psychopath. Because you can't control your power. Why couldn't he just swoop in and take all of them out at once? Makes no sense. Like, there's a couple of scenes that are like that as well. Like, he's letting people die, and then he's just saving a few. He's like, I'm God. Oh shit, a few people died. I better save them. Dun dun dun. Oh, come on. Like, the way it's written, okay, I'm not blaming Cavill, okay? I'm blaming the writers for this. Goya, like, it's clear to me that they don't know how to write Superman. Okay, they wanted to do The Dark Knight Returns. That's clearly what they wanted to do, but they also wanted to rush in Doomsday, which I will get to. So yeah, the whole film is basically controversial. Superman gets blamed. Then there's this Bat Vigilante that's kind of coming in. I can go through this quite quickly because I'll tell you something. There's a lot of quick cuts, and the film is nothing but look back to this, look back to that. Batman being feared by Superman. Superman feeling that he's responsible. That's the whole film until the end. The end is when they fight. And I'll tell you something, the fight is uninteresting. It is 5 minutes. 5 minutes. The CGI is horrible. The whole setup thing, the suits, the bat suit looks pretty cool, like the mechanical suit, and his other bat suit. I will admit, his suit looks pretty cool, and Ben Affleck was in good shape, okay? That's a good thing. That is an uprise. Only 2 uprises. The rest is shit, okay? You lost me, alright? And the whole fight, I mean, basically, Superman gets set up, okay, by Lex Luthor, played by a hilariously over-the-top Jesse Eisenberg. And at the same time, so Superman gets framed, and he's about to say to the world, what he thinks of this whole destruction and what he does for a living. And basically, all these people come together in a room and the building explodes. And Superman is framed for it, okay? He is being blamed for this, okay? And Batman is basically now, now I really gotta defeat him now. Like, I'm Batman, And to be honest, like, it's a clever setup. I will admit, that is a clever setup. But when we get to the fight, it's stupid, Like Martha Kent gets captured, and it's just to motivate Superman to be all bloodthirsty and shit. And then he goes to Batman for help, and then Batman's like, I'm gonna fight you. Tell me, do you feel? He's like, what? You will. You're gonna die now. Here I am. I can't act to save my life, and I don't even sound like Batman, so I gotta get this voice mixer to make me sound more like Kevin Conroy. Seriously, like, he can't even sound like Batman. That's why they've got that voice changer thing, because he can't sound like Batman. At least Christian Bale, like, if he didn't have that growly voice, and he had a normal voice, he would have been a great Batman. Like, I think he would have been, like, as good as Keaton. Like, but the problem with Bale was he tried too hard. Affleck doesn't even try. Like, he's just being Ben Affleck. I can't really see him in any other role than being himself. And if you compare him to Kevin Conroy's Batman, even the way he's drawn, most of the time he's very still. Still in the sense that he doesn't react that much. And there's a difference between being dull and being still because you know a lot, because you're intelligent, okay? That's what Batman is. This Batman is dumb as fuck, and I will get to that, okay? So they have their fight. You know, it's really stupid. So Superman basically trolls him. He says, "Stay down. If I wanted to, I could kill you already." And then he uses a few tricks on him, and Superman just fell for it like an idiot. He gets the kryptonite on him, and then that bullshit hook that Superman throws, and then Batman just blocks it because apparently the movie says so. Okay, that made a little bit more sense, but still, Batman should at least have a broken arm by that point, because practically that swing without kryptonite could just blast him out of existence if he wanted to. He'd be like, and he'd be like, "Oh, sorry, Bruce. Oh my God, I killed someone again," just like in the previous film. You know, it makes no sense. And then basically Batman is beating him up a little bit because of his mechanical suit. How strong is his mechanical suit? Okay, I thought that mechanical suit was General Zod's one, and then he recreated it. No, he just made it himself. Again, that makes no sense. How can Batman beat him up with that stupid, heavy-looking suit? It makes no sense. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! I don't know why people gave this a 9 out of 10, and it's no surprise that it dropped. It really isn't. Oh God, most of the time I was like this. Do you know why? Because Batman was talking like an idiot, and Jesse Eisenberg was being that guy, was just being hilarious, and I was just like this. I had my head down most of the time. That's how stupid it was. Like, oh God, I'm losing track. Okay, so then Superman gets the upper hand, and the best reaction from Affleck was when he was punching Superman like crazy, and then Superman just has his face like this, just basically that. Doesn't do much. And then Affleck is like, I thought, that is good, man. That is pussy talk. That's not what Batman would do, but that is what Affleck would do, okay? That is a good reaction, because to be honest, you have no chance against him. You should just go home. Alright? You see this? You don't deserve this. You don't deserve that. Alright? I don't even know why. But you just look... fuck it. Alright, so then... he uses the kryptonite again, and... well, on a spear, basically. He creates this, and... by the way, they just bring the kryptonite out of their ass. Basically. They show like a meteor fragment of that, and basically... I don't know where Lex Luthor got it from. Apparently it was shipped to him, but I don't know how Bruce Wayne... I don't know how Affleck got it. Like, when did we miss that? I don't even know where that came from. Like, when did we establish kryptonite? And also, how does Superman not know about kryptonite? And how is he not surprised? He just goes straight into the fight. Like, he's not even shocked about the idea. He thought, what is this? He didn't even, Affleck didn't even explain what it was. I know we don't need an explanation, but to be honest, they don't know what it is. How is that realistic? You tell me. Okay, so Batman has him on hold, and then the fight ends so stupidly. Okay, Superman just says, "I need to protect Martha," and he's like, "Why did you say that? Why did you say that? Why did you say that? Why did you say that?" This is not how Batman would act. Okay, most of the time Batman is being a dumbass. Okay. This is the worst Batman I have seen on screen because he is stupid. He is an idiot, okay? He just says, "Where did you learn? Why did you say that? Why did you say that?" If you've been doing this for 20 years, wouldn't you have at least gotten over it by now? Like, I know you're supposed to be a bit more aggressive, but to be honest, you're a dumbass. Batman is both aggressive and intelligent, okay? And being aggressive is not enough. Anyone can be aggressive. I can be aggressive. deep down inside. But does that make me Batman? No. I'd have to do a lot to be Batman. Because the thing is, the reason why Affleck fails on so many levels. The day I've heard about this, I knew this was going to be a bad idea, and I knew there was going to be. I was very skeptical on this. Okay, and to be honest, I was right. To be honest, I mean, he just doesn't have that presence that Batman would have. He's trying to do something, and I admire that, but trying is not enough. We want someone who can actually do it. And there are plenty of actors who can do it. And there are probably plenty of actors who would have done this as well, but you picked the worst possible, one of the worst possible choices. You know, he is boring. Like, almost some of the lines as Bruce Wayne, come out of his mouth, he's like, we need to form a Justice League. And I go, oh, come on, you cannot possibly sound like that. I literally said that in the cinema, you know? But yeah. That presence and that adultery about himself, you know, he's very calm and he doesn't give himself away a lot. Not because he's bland, but because that's what he does. He does that because he does not want to give himself away, because then that would destroy everything else around him. You know, that's why he plays it so well. That's playing with your identity. Affleck doesn't do that. He's just a man on a mission, and he gives himself away a lot, by the way. Like, there's a stupid scene where he's talking to Clark Kent, and Jesse Eisenberg is giving a clue, you know, a Krusty the Clown speech, you know, and he's just giving himself away. And how can people not know that he's suspicious? He's like this most of the time. He's like, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for something. It's like, we've had a history of freaks dressed like clowns. And then Clark's like, I'm not sure the world agrees with you, Mr. Wayne. Well, maybe it's like Gotham that we got around us, you know? It's like, we got so much. Sorry, I'm dribbling with my mouth at the moment, but practically, how can you tell that I'm Batman? Because the thing is, my mouth does this all the time, and Batman doesn't have that. Well, he has something a little bit similar to this, but I don't know, guys. Sorry, I love that parody trailer. Alright, so moving on. So, Clark figures out that Martha is the name of his mother, and to be honest, that was a stupid reaction. And it took Lois to just kind of say, you know, no, that's his mum's name, you dumbass. Like, wake up. It's like, okay, alright, I'm gonna go now. Bye. and then, so basically, where it ends off, they go to this fight scene where Affleck is basically, like, he does a few cool moves, I will admit, but most of the time he's standing around, and he got shot right in the rib, and I just thought, oh. Is that body armor, by the way? Like, when he got shot? I want to know. Where's the explanation? Explain! This film is really shit at explaining stuff. This is a rushed film, okay? Now I'm going to get to the end, alright? Doomsday is in this film, looking like a really bad orc, and I swear to God, he looks way too damn big. He looks bigger than the Hulk in Avengers, like even in the Incredible Hulk, Edward Norton film. He looks like this really shitty amphibian thing, and to be honest, like, I'd be better off if I was watching Lord of the Rings than this, which is a good film. And they have a fight, and Wonder Woman comes in. Sorry, I didn't mention her before, but that's because she has one scene, and she is really bland. She has no emotion whatsoever, and she wears her suit, and her battle cry is so dull. She's like, yeah! To be honest, you're better off sounding like Filthy Frank. Yeah! And yeah, so they have a fight, and they have to find that spear thing, because that's the only thing that can kill Doomsday. By the way, Doomsday is General Zod, but zombied, okay? So Doomsday all along was General Zod. I will find him! That's basically what he is. And now we have a rushed fight, which, to be honest, could have been good if it was a video game. This was a shit fight, okay? So Wonder Woman and Superman are pretty much the ones doing stuff all around, and Batman has some ridiculously fake-looking CGI moments where he flicks up and he basically goes out like a cartoon character, and then they get the spear. Superman, being brave, stabs it in him, but then he gets killed in the process with one of Doomsday's spikes, and then that's it, basically. You know, Superman gets killed. So basically they combine Dark Knight Returns with Doomsday. Really, really clever writing. Like, Shakespeare couldn't have done better, basically. So the film ends off with, this whole thing on, forming a Justice League, and we know Superman's going to come back, because we saw a picture of Henry Cavill training, and plus he's in the credits as well, so, yeah. The only good thing I liked was Henry Cavill as Superman. Lois Lane, Perry White, and Jeremy Irons as Alfred. Really cool Alfred. But honestly, this was a train wreck. 2.5 hours waste of my time. I'm glad I'm getting this out now, because honestly, I wouldn't have had everything else to say angrily, within the next week or so. But to be honest, this was a train wreck. I went in this film wearing this, by the way, because honestly, this doesn't deserve DC applaud. Like, it doesn't deserve anything for that matter. So, like, why couldn't you get... Okay, I've talked enough about Affleck. You get my point. I think the worst actor, easily, apart from Affleck and Godot, is Jesse Eisenberg. I'm sorry, he was having fun, but... Like, do I even need to say he's not Lex Luthor? Most of the time I had my head down. I was laughing my ass off whenever he was on screen. I'm not even going to bother watching their universe. It's too dull. Like, the problem with this film is, it is so boring, and it's completely rushed. Like, there's not much of Superman, despite that he's the one I care about the most. And also, most of the time, they're just trying to do Batman, 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 Batman most of the time. And Batman and Wonder Woman, they have no chemistry with each other whatsoever. 3 years of speculation, and finally, I see this. However, this doesn't have anything to affect me with what I like about DC in general. I do like DC. I don't want to do a Marvel versus DC match, but if I had to do it with movies, it would obviously be Marvel. Okay? There's no contest. There's no way that I could do a versus match with these two companies. But the main problem is really WB. Okay? This film is obviously not going to do so well in the box office. Well, it might get something, but it's not going to be, like, up there, If you like the film, good for you, okay? Please don't be offended, okay? If you like Affleck as Batman, good for you, alright? He just doesn't do anything for me, okay? Jesse Eisenberg, like, pretty much stole the show in being bad, but honestly, this is worse than Spider-Man 3. I'm not even upset, because the thing is, I knew this was going to happen. I just didn't know that it was going to be boring. Right. So, that is my rant/review of a shit film. This is Sun Kaloku, signing out.